I would like to talk a little bit about the brand component, building a crisis-resilient brand. And, after we follow all of the fantastic advice that's been given, we have this opportunity to convert a customer. And of course, one of the things that they are paying attention to is which contractor and which contractor brand makes the most sense for my family, for my budget, for my lifestyle. And there's a lot that we have to think about right now in that regard. And David Holt said something really interesting a little bit ago, which was, we could look at other industries and make some correlations and learn from how other industries are adapting their brands to where we are right now in order to not only maintain relevance and grow customers, but to continue to deliver on the really strong brand promises that they already had in place. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ben. Nope, you missed one. Cool, right on. So point number one, I don't think anybody listening right now is going to disagree with the idea that what's happening around us right now will permanently change your company brand. And that's okay, right? Your values, of course, are immutable. The values that your business represents, those are transcendent, those are immutable, as well they should be. But if you take a look at how companies, as David alluded to, are responding to this, you can see how shifts in brand usage make them more viable in the marketplace. So, as we know, we've seen a health crisis that is turning into a deepening financial crisis that, at least here in the Northwest, is becoming a humanitarian crisis on lots of different levels. And so forecasting the future, what your customers are going to want in the future are, first of all, safety, and our industry is taking some nascent steps in that direction. They're going to expect value. And I think that the nature of value is going to have to be reevaluated from a brand position. Convenience, certainly they're going to want a less intrusive experience, but a renewed and growing focus on wellness. And I can't drive to the office anymore and not see more joggers, hikers, cyclists out there taking care of themselves in both a physical and mental and emotional standpoint. And so as we go through this, we have to recognize from a brand position that our customers' needs and expectations are changing as well. And so in coaching people regarding brand design, the first mistake that a lot of brands make is that they fail to focus on the aspects of their offer that help people survive and thrive. Those basic human needs that we've got, right? How can I get better and how can I improve? Now, interestingly enough, very little of those have to do with things like hot and cold air. So we have an opportunity to step back and learn. I want to reference Panera Bread. And again, Mr. Holt made a great observation. Panera Bread is probably one of the best examples I've seen recently of how a brand has led through the crisis and has done so in a purpose-driven way. And if you take a look at their financial performance, I think it speaks for itself. This is a place that was a quick service restaurant where you'd go in and you'd get good, healthy food, and it was a little bit more intimate than like a McDonald's or something like that. But they made some really tactical brand decisions that has catapulted their performance in the marketplace, and we can learn from that. So, a resilient brand, taking a look at Panera, if you take a look at what they have done, first of all, that is a brand that has responded to trends with speed and decisiveness. They built grocery stores in 2 weeks, shifting away from a cafe model to a grocery store model. They were able to capitalize on e-commerce, and we've heard a lot about e-commerce, and we should not pay attention to that. They found new ways to express their brand promise online. They were able to make difficult decisions with their employees, particularly regarding furloughed employees, because they knew what their values were. They found great strategic partners, and I think that the Thriving in the New Normal series is a terrific example of how partnerships and collaboration actually becomes a huge strategic advantage. They were able to protect furloughed workers. They were able to provide weekly family meals for everybody. But most importantly, your brand should help you lead with your heart right now. And when insecurities and ambiguities and concerns are at their highest among your consumers, that is when they are most apt for a brand promise that is heart-driven. What that means to you as a salesperson or as a business owner is that you have to step back and ask yourself, does my brand reflect the current conditions and the concerns and the ambiguities that my customers are facing? When was the last time I asked myself, is my brand relevant among current consumer concerns? Because the idea of a brand promise is not hermetic. It is not sealed. It does not exist in a box. It has to reflect the things that are happening in the world around it. And when you do that, you find yourself able to capture a little bit of that contextual momentum that helps you differentiate yourself from people that have not revisited their brand promise or their consumer connection in a really long time. And I applaud Panera. I think it's a great company. But what we can learn from that, if to David's point, we have to look at other industries and learn how they're doing so well right now. What they are doing is assessing the brand strength, the brand promise, and their ability to deliver on those promises in lieu of and in consideration of what's happening in the world around them. So the exercise I would offer you salespeople and business owners that are on the call, take a look at the cultural trends that influence your consumers' behavior. Unless you're a national company, I would say don't look at large, but look in your communities, look in your service markets. What are the underlying truths among your consumers that you can then integrate into your brand? What's happening in your service market and in your community that you should be integrating into your brand promises right now? And to scale it differently, if Panera decided they were going to wake up and get into the air conditioning business, how would they do it? And what can we learn from an already successful model? Okay. So, Ben, I don't need this slide. I don't need this slide either. Woo! All right, you guys, thank you so much. If you have questions about brand development, if you have a question about consumer experiences or communicating those aspects to potential customers, please go ahead and reach out, and I appreciate the opportunity.